Hi, welcome back for our second tutorial for Shock Humanities at Play edition. This is Dominic and I'm Richard. We're going to show you today from the characters that we built last time. We've chosen one of our issues. We're going to deal with one of our antagonists and one of our protagonists and show you the anatomy of a scene. What does it actually look like to play? When it comes time for you to actually play, you're going to be playing out 3 different scenes for each one of your issues. And it's usually a good idea to do scene 1 for each of your issues, then scene 2, then scene 3 for each one. So you go around the table playing with each of your pairs of players once, and then a second time, and then a third time. And in that third scene, you're going to resolve whether the protagonist, actually gets their story goal or not. So the issue that we decided to deal with here in our world that's all about brain chips, a chip in the head, is we had this one that was sort of about the blurred line between private and professional life, right? So something about work-life balance, but how like something like a piece of work technology in your head might be sort of an invasive force in that work-life balance. And we're going to see that play out with a couple of characters that we've put together. So I am going to be playing Ted, who works for an insurance company managing insurance claims, as well as Dominic, who's going to be playing Waldo, his vice president of claims. And we're going to find that for Ted, this is all going to be about trying to find either, get promoted to the point where he can free his mind so that he has Waldo less sort of up in his brain, or to find some other way to free his mind. So in some way, he wants to try to find a way of getting out of there. And we had established a few general minutia about this issue as well, right? We had established that maybe these chips exist at different tiers with different functionality, and that if a company provides you your brain chip, they might have some sort of like administrator access. And we're going to see that play out in our scene. That's going to be part of the powers available to the big boss, to be able to have administrator rights on Ted's device. So let's have a look at our situation over here. We're going to show you how to actually play through some scenes. So we've got our antagonist and protagonist sheets ready to go here as well. As we play through a scene, you're going to find that not only do you have your information about your protagonist and your antagonist that you've established here in the middle column, but the right-hand column shows you what to do to frame a scene, to establish a conflict, to establish a conflict with clear intents that are sort of partially at odds with each other but not mutually exclusive, how to resolve that conflict at the end of the scene, and how then to set up the stakes for whatever might inspire the next scene. Do you have anything to add on that?
No, it's good.
Okay, so with that, we're going to get started with our framing a scene. So it's good practice for the antagonist player, that's going to be Dominic, to take a look at where we are, what we look like, who else is there, and what else are you doing to your story goal. But before we dive into that, let's remind ourselves a little bit more about the characters that we're going to be playing. So we had built a protagonist and an antagonist around this issue. I'm playing Ted in the shock of brain chips here. He's in that issue of work-life balance. And we're going to find that his 3 features here, his first starting features, occupation, look, and personality, they've been filled out. He's an insurance claims manager. So he's the one where, if you've got a car accident, or if you've got a, what's some other insurance claims that people have? Sometimes it could be a health insurance claim, or it could be a life insurance claim, for example. The person who's making the claim calls up the company and somebody takes on the dossier. Somebody's got to figure out how it works. And so that's Ted. That's what he does for a living. He's a 40-year-old, for his look, 40-year-old corporate peon. When I say peon, I mean like a peon, like a pawn on the chessboard, right? He's not the lowest rank in the machine, but he's certainly like somewhere in the lower middle. He doesn't denote himself in any sort of special way in the way that he looks either. He just comes in and goes each day, and his personality echoes that. He's dissatisfied with his life. He feels like it's not really going very, very, very far. He and his if we look at his relationship down here, his wife Pierrette. Pierrette is a librarian. He's 40, she's 35. They're living in a small apartment. They've got hopes of one day, access to a bigger property, the possibility of taking some time off to go and get married and to maybe even to have some kids, but it feels like things are not going that way for them yet. It's taking longer than they expect. And so that explains some of Ted's, understandable dissatisfaction with his life, and Pierrette is starting to feel the pressure as well. But his ideology that goes along with this, and that explains why he continues to stick it out, is that hard work pays off. He really sincerely believes that if he just, despite the pressures that he lives in, despite the context, despite the material conditions, that if he just keeps his head down and goes for it, it's going to pay off and he's going to have everything that he wants. We're going to see if Pierrette still believes it over time as well. And his story goal here is he feels a lot of pressure from his boss. And his boss in this case is going to be our antagonist character, but it also represents sort of the force of antagonism, right? Like he's got access to this brain chip and it's got cool functions, but he can feel the fact that like he is monitored by his employer and that he is sort of, he's got this overbearing boss that micromanages him, but that also can see, he worries. Ted even worries, can Waldo know that privately, despite the fact that that Ted shows up with his hard work pays off mentality, can he also see the dissatisfaction underneath? Like, to what degree is he privy not just to the contents of his brain chip, but of his mind itself? So, with our praxis that we established last time, we had authenticity versus wearing a mask and giving versus taking. Those are going to be the same for all of the characters across all of the issues for this whole game. And in this case, Ted's favored praxis is authenticity. He just tries to play it straight. He tries to say it how it is, and he's an earnest, hard worker. He shows up and he's honest, and he hopes that everything's going to work out. He doesn't try to wear the mask too much, although maybe his ability to remain authentic might start to slip.
Let's talk about like my character for this time around. I'm gonna be playing Waldo. So this is Ted's antagonist. So same shock, same issue, work-life balance. The big difference is I don't get feature, I get minutia instead, and I'm gonna have a list of 5. So I start with always these 5 active. They consume my dice pool. So I'm the VP of claims. So I'm the manager of that manager here. But and his look is same look, corporate, but a bit slicker, right? He's got more money, more status in the company, so I look the part. Uh, he's fake friendly, boss says, "Hey, champ," that kind of talks to you like that, but doesn't really think much of you. And he's also an expert delegator, so he never actually puts in any real work. He just cash in on the pay and look good, and that's pretty much it. His big resource is going to be his admin access to the brain chip, so he actually can track and monitor Ted to a greater extent than Ted might know actually. And his big allies is his uncle, the CEO of the insurance company. So basically, Waldo is a nepo baby. It's been plugged in to the company and hasn't have to didn't have to work at all to achieve his status. And now, well, he needs Ted and others to perform well because he needs to look good in front of his uncle. But him, Waldo, is not putting any work. In this case, when we look at the praxis, um, he's going to be someone who's good at taking stuff from other people, right? He's a parasite, basically. So I'm a corporate parasite. I look good on the surface, but like deep down, I'm not a nice person at all. So we'll see how this pans out.
We'll see how this plans out. So we're going to play
Yep.
out one scene for you guys, and then we'll show you how we frame the scene. We're going to show you how we establish intents through the act of play, right? From the framing of the scene, we're going to, he's going to ask me those 4 questions. I'm going to just start to like fabulate some stuff, and he's going to listen really closely as I narrate what my character is up to move slightly towards my ultimate goal, but not directly towards it in scene 1. We're going to leave that for scene 3. But I'm trying to advance myself towards that goal in some way in scene 1. And he's going to listen carefully, and he's going to insert himself somewhere along the way. He might show up as the antagonist character itself, as his resource, as his allies, or as some other, non-player character that pulls me into the game of the antagonist somehow. And we're going to talk sort of freely like that as I'm moving towards my goal, and as he's trying to get in my way. We're going to discover that at some point our intents are going to be at odds with each other, and it's going to be like, okay, well, now we've got to roll the dice to find out what happens, to find out how this scene gets resolved. Each scene gets resolved with one sort of this zenith, this climax, which is the conflict. We've named our intents. We're going to figure out what is our dice pool for each one of us. We're going to throw our hands full of dice. We're going to see what the algorithm of the game rules gives us as results. And those results are going to be about, well, how much narrative control, what sort of narrative currency does each one of us have in deciding how the results of the scene play out as we have to come down from that climax? What happens as a result? And then that sets up the stakes for whatever the next scene might be. Okay, shall we begin? Let's begin.
Okay.
So Dominic is going to ask me those 4 framing questions.
Okay. So first off, we need to have a sense of location. So where are you? Where is Ted right now?
Ted's been working hard, and Pierrette is clearly starting to show signs of dissatisfaction as well, of frustration. That like things like that Ted's sort of attitude of I'm just going to work harder and we're going to have everything that we want. It's not paying off yet. And it's starting to feel like it's been a while. He's been at this for a long time, and it seems to be like they're running in place. So I think that he has decided to give them, the two of them, a little taste of freedom and a little taste of the types of hopes and dreams that they've got for their future. So they're not ready to get married yet. They're not ready to move out yet, but man, they need a vacation. So he's booked himself a long weekend. He's booked off the Friday and the Monday and Tuesday. And he's taking this long weekend. All of his work is under control. He's put in his notice for this, this request for time off. And right now he is driving. He's driving on the 401 West. He's in Ontario. He's just crossed the Quebec border. He's in his little 12-year-old Honda Civic with Pierrette beside, burning down the 401 at 125 kilometers per hour with music playing, and they want to try to make it to Niagara Falls tonight.
Okay.
So to spend a long weekend together.
And Pierre is beside you. She's wearing like a light summer dress. Big like wide rimmed hat, summer hat, like in a straw.
Yeah.
Kind of hat.
And you see in that narration from the beginning, he actually didn't need to ask me each one of these questions directly. I knew what they were. He got me started, but he didn't wait for me to stop to just insert the other questions, because in the end, I answered them all. So tell me more about what's Pierrette up to.
So she's I think that she's excited at the prospect of going on vacation.
Yeah.
It's like a honeymoon preview.
Yeah, that's it. It's like they want to go and get married in Niagara Falls, and they're like, well, let's just go and we're gonna scout the place out.
Yeah. Okay,
let's go. Let's go give ourselves like a
Okay. Yeah, first taste of this, and scout the location, see where we could hold the ceremony, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, so she's excited, but there's a tinge of worry that because Ted's mentality seems to be quite the workaholic grinder kind of mentality. So she's a bit worried that something might come and spoil the whole trip. So, but she's still talking like lightly. She's a co-pilot. She's in charge of music.
Yeah.
She makes sure to play like real bangers to put yourself in the mood of going summer vacation.
Yeah. Don't even worry about it. You know what? Just like plot ahead. Take a look. Everything's under control. Like, let's say she said something about that. Don't even worry about it. Hey, why don't you open up your phone? The playlist is good. This is gold. To keep it going. Why don't you take a look? I bet we can hit Kingston by lunchtime. Why don't you take a look where you want us to stop for lunch?
So she's a oh yeah, well, she's a gut brain chip. So her eyes seem to be looking like in the distance, like a long stare.
Yeah.
But she's actually scrolling to a whole menu of places to eat, like diners, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, she's going to go for like classic diner type of place.
Mm.
So she's about to do this, but I feel like now would be a good time for Waldo to ping Ted right in his head.
Yeah, I think that's what we're waiting for. Is the real
Yeah.
antagonist needs
Yeah.
to come and like break their fun a little bit.
So Waldo, so you received some kind of a ping from Waldo. So hey champ, where are you today?
Oh, what's up, boss? Yeah, I'm just looking forward to this long weekend. Just pulled past Rivière Baudette. I'm almost at 30 minutes out of Cornwall.
Okay, that's quite precise.
That's quite precise.
It's
Good.
good.
Share my location here.
Yeah, well-
Why are you asking me? You know where I am.
Well, it's like just like regular small talk, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, long weekend. I didn't see any authorization for long weekends, especially not now. Like we're in the big crunch. I just had to fire Bob, Jim, and Jack last week, so I need someone to cover for them.
Oh, but Waldo, sir, buddy. I took care of all my files. They are all taken care of. I'm on top of all of my stuff. Everything is to the point where it can be. It's everything can wait until Tuesday. Besides, I can send you the confirmation from HR. I definitely booked Friday, Monday, and Tuesday.
I'm sure Susan did an amazing job of booking everything and making everything compliant. But thing is, as I told you, got nothing to say about your job, buddy. You're my champ, and I need my champ to cover up for the 3 slackers I just laid off. Yeah, I know, it sucks, but like we're a team, right?
Yeah. So we could probably, from what we've said so far, we could probably discern like what our intents are. Like for sure, in terms of me moving towards my story goal, I want this weekend that encourages me, that makes me feel like I will free my mind, like I will get what I want, that I can get what I want within this organization if I do the things that I've got to do, and I have done them. So I want to be able to take my weekend off. But I bet Waldo wants something that's like compatible with that, but like that might sour it, right? Something
I cannot kind of fully revoke the weekend.
Yeah.
If that's your intent, because that like my dice are already going to block you on that.
Yeah.
On the end. So
yeah.
So you want to get there, still spend time in Niagara Falls with Pierrette. In that case, what Waldo wants is to make sure that you somehow manage
to do Bob's extra work, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Bob left a couple of dossiers or whatever. So
Yeah.
like, okay, I can be gone, but I've still got to do Bob's work. So we can see that depending how the dice go, each of our intents can, in a binary way, turn on or off independently from each other. Either I'm going to get away for the weekend or I won't. And either I'm going to have to do the work or I won't. And we can combine those in any sort of way. And the dice are going to decide.
Yeah.
So what the type of the role play, that this question comes up often. Like, what's the role of like all of the role play before to arrive at, well, it's to arrive at the intents, to understand like what's at stake when we're going to roll the dice. Like, what are the things that we're rolling about? So let's take a look at how do we put together our dice pool. So our next step is to figure out how many dice we're each going to roll those dice, and then interpret the results as we go down the steps of the game procedure here. So as a starting protagonist, I've got my 3 features here. I've got my occupation, look, and personality, and they each give me 1 die. So I'm going to have 3 dice to begin with. Later on, I may acquire a lesson and a scar as the result of this or another scene, in which case those would help me to level up in a way. Those give me additional base dice. My real question right now is I need to decide whether these links are at play. If I invoke these links, if I bring them in and sort of put them on the line, I can gather 1 or 2 additional dice over here, but I need to roll them in another color over here. I need to roll them separately at least so that I can know whether they succeed or not. They do give me more chances to win overall, right? More dice in my hand leads to more chances of success. But in this case, there's risk associated with them. If I don't get a success on either or both of these dice, well, then one or both of these links is somehow going to be rewritten in a more negative light. So either my ideology will become, a harder version of itself or a discouraged version of itself. It could be just broken and inversed. We'll see. In some way, it's going to have to change. My relationship with Pierrette, I could bring it in as well. Like her opinion of me and our future projects could sour, for example. She could lose faith in the whole thing. Maybe not all at once, but like if I roll that die and it doesn't succeed, it doesn't tweak. But I am rolling the die by invoking her because I look over at her and I'm like, no, damn it, it's going to work out. Yeah. It's going to work out for her. So that's an easy way for me to invoke that die. Yeah. So,
you do believe that you did your work and you deserve the time off.
Yeah.
Right. So that would make sense.
Yeah.
And you're doing this basically for your own relationship with your wife.
Yeah.
So I can see how both links fit.
Yeah, it's easy for me to invoke both, and I think it's advantageous and interesting to do it for now anyway, because as we're going to see, when it comes time for our antagonist to throw their dice pool, they've always got 5 dice.
Yep.
They've always got 5 as their base dice, and I've got 3 to begin with. So to catch up to him, it's like I've got to put everything on the line just to be on equality in terms of the statistical probability of success.
I'm looking at the praxis now,
yeah,
and I feel like you're not being quite authentic. You're trying to kind of maintain the facade with Pierre that everything is fine.
Yeah.
Right. And
if anything, with Buddy, with Waldo, I'm just taking. It's like, no, je m'affirme. I'm just taking what I want. And we could throw it to the audience as well, a type of question: what would it take for me to have to maintain or to grab that extra die for my favorite praxis of authenticity? In which case they might say, well, it means you gotta tell Pierrette right out the get-go.
Yeah.
You gotta tell her what's on the line, like what's, Waldo's breaking. We'll bleep that, right?
Yeah, but right now it wouldn't make much sense. I feel like you're not using your favorite practice.
So we're gonna leave it like that. We're gonna take those 5 dice. Right now he is maintaining that facade. He's having that conversation just like on internal monologue with Waldo. It's not even speakerphone. It's like mind to mind texting, like mind to mind texting, thought to thought texting. Okay, so I'm gonna roll these dice, and what we're looking for are successes, which are 5s or 6s. Each die that generates a 5 or a 6 is a success. So here I've got 1 success from my 6. So we're going to put that to the side. The other thing to note is that despite that 1 success, neither of these link dice have got a success. So I'm going to have to, at the end of the scene, regardless of how the rest of things work out with my intents and with our antagonist's intent, I'm going to have to rewrite both of these links. His ideology will change and his relationship is going to get rewritten in a slightly less interesting way. So I've got 1 success.
Okay. So let's put the orange dice aside just to remember that we need to change them. And let's
keep my 1 success over here. Just keep them visible on screen. Perfect. Which means you can still have your 5 dice, and then we can take a look.
Okay, so I got my 5 dice because, I always start with 5 dice. Antagonist starts stronger than the protagonist to put some pressure on the protagonist to change or do something about this or to risk their relationships. So in that case, I got my 5 dice, but I feel like I'm actually taking.
Yeah, sure.
So
for sure, and it's transgressive. Like everything was legit here. Ted's totally in the right, and Waldo is just trying to make him do something because he thinks he can. Thinks he can.
So I got 6 dice.
Yeah.
To try and beat your 1.
My
success.
1 success. Okay. So those of you who are watching at home are going to see
Amazing.
a handful of not much for all of those dice, but there is a 5 here, right?
Oh my
Fives and
God.
6s count the same, right? They're just a success. So normally what we would do is we would take a look at the number of successes that I've generated and then subtract the number of successes that he's generated. And that'll give me a tally of net successes. If I've got positive net successes, right? If I've got 1, 2, or 3 more, I get to use those 1, 2, or 3 positive net successes to buy some of these outcomes down here. Do I get to accomplish my intent? Do I suffer harm? Do I protect myself from harm or cost? Do I protect others from harm or cost? Those are interesting choices to make, but those aren't the ones that I've got right now. Had he rolled a bunch of additional successes, we'd be in the position where I've got negative net successes, which just means he gets to take over the end of the scene, basically. He gets his intent, and I don't. And he gets to narrate out, like, how the end of the scene plays out. And then together we figure out, like, you know, what do my rewritten links look like? And then I would add a lesson or a scar, because I would not have my intent. When you don't get your intent as the protagonist, you get to add a lesson or a scar. So what have you learned as a result of this failure? Or how has it traumatized you in some sort of way? And actually that levels you up. You face adversity, you hit the dirt, and you get back up, you know, maybe a little bit harder, a little bit wiser, whatever it is, you know?
But now it's the best of both worlds.
It's so fun, this.
Because, like, when it's a tie result, it means that we both get what we want out of this. So this is why it was so important in the first place, to make sure that both intentions or intents could happen
at the same time. And this has led to sort of that situation that we talked out as we were figuring out the intents. There's nothing wrong with the weekend in the sense I'm still going. He can't force me to come back. Everything's been done properly. I'm able to I'll forward him the email from HR. No, look, like, everything's legit. I've got the weekend off. But Waldo's able to say, okay, chap, that's fine. You know, you deserve it. Something like that.
Yep.
But, like, you got to help us out. And I know you're a team player, chap. You're my number one guy. And so, you know, you better make sure that you get your work and all of Bob's work done by the end of next week, which to Ted would mean I better get started this weekend.
So my guess is the call ends.
Yeah.
And let's adjust your let's adjust the relationship and ideology, and then we'll play the rest of the scene. We'll conclude the scene. But I feel like Pierrette is going to be catching a whiff of something.
Yeah.
Something's fishy.
Yeah.
Okay. So so in that case, Pierrette, How would that feel? Well, how could we change the relationship? So we need to kind of add something about it to kind of qualify it a bit, right? So right now he's got a relationship with wife. We could presume that it was going well. That was the thing that were going well. But yeah, as she's like switching the music, she looks back at you, and she found a place to eat, but you're kind of ending the call.
Yeah, like I'm distracted on my own thing, right? You know, like she's sure that I've distracted the whole thing, my own thing, and because I didn't play authenticity, he's gonna be like, oh yeah, no, it's Waldo, everything's fine, everything's good. I just he's reminding me some stuff that's gotta happen. It's no problem. Like, don't worry about it. We're still gonna do everything. It's just I'm gonna have to take a look at some things. Okay. You know,
I think that she should become suspicious now. She should be a bit on your back. Like,
I think that she's like she's dissatisfied too. How could we phrase it? It would be something like, are we gonna make it? You know, or are we? She's got her doubts about his well-being.
Yeah.
You know, is Ted okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's worried about you.
Yeah. Like at this point, she's worried about Ted. Like, it's gotten more complicated, so but it leaves us lots of space that if I invoke her again and it fails again, it can get infinitely worse. It's not so bad yet, but it's not as cheery and like everything's okay as it might have been a minute ago.
She's keeping a watch on you. She's keeping an eye on you, making sure that you're okay, because she's actually worried about your state.
But you know what? When we set the next scene, I get to decide when it is, how far it is into the future, what the results are. And I don't even think it's going to be about this weekend anymore.
No.
I think wife Pierrette, worried about Ted, disappointed about the weekend away. It didn't go quite how she wanted.
Okay, yeah, it's good. Yeah, because he was probably so tired because he was working at night.
Yeah. He'd put in a few
While she
hours
was
each
sleeping,
night.
like he put
Yeah.
like. It's good.
And I think the way that I would rewrite my ideology just to be consistent with that is he's going to double down. Got to work harder.
Oh,
Like, because there's two ways that it could get darker, right? It's either he could kind of give up or he could become jaded at the idea of hard work. Because, like, hard work often does pay off. Let's be clear, right? Like, hard work's a good thing, but depends, right?
Yeah.
Like, it depends. And it's got its limits. So in this case, it could be he would give up or he'd become sort of like more, and we're never going to make it or whatever. But in this case, I find it more interesting for him. He's going to have to crack before he changes his mind about this. So he's got to work harder. Got to go faster, harder.
Yeah. Yeah, doubling down on his.
He's going to double
mindset.
down.
Oh, yeah.
And so the lesson or oh no, I don't get those because I got my intent
Yeah,
really.
you got your intent.
Like-
you're still going to vacation. It's gonna be.
We
a
still
nice
got the vacation, and it wasn't totally unsatisfying, right? It's just didn't go as well as it could.
Yeah.
And that's it. So if we were playing with the other issues, right now we might go to Azura and find out what's going on with her streaming life, or we might go over to Thelma and find out what's going on with her like abusive boyfriend.
Yep.
We do first scene of both of those and see how they're going, resolve them just as we did right now. And then we would come back to Ted and Waldo, and we would, Waldo would reframe the scene for me and ask me those 4 questions again. And I would get to decide, is it that weekend? Is it that night? Is it just later on? Or is it a year later? And now they're at the wedding that they booked,
My God, man.
Like, that's kind of
amazing
cool.
scene.
Like, a year later, they've booked everything, and now
Yeah,
they've been
man.
wedding planning for a year, and they are getting a little better. Ted still doesn't have that, that promotion that he's looking for that would free his mind, but
Yeah, I'm definitely dangling that promotion in your face.
but he won Employee of the Year, like buddy guy, something like that, right? Like it's been a good bad sort of year for him, right? And I think that would be a good place for us to reframe like a scene 2, and now something more decisive might happen as he's moving towards it. Maybe he. Like, for example, maybe as a wedding gift, one of the people at his wedding offered him a new brain chip that's not connected to his employer. And so does he insert a second one or replace the one that his employer has provided?
Heavy stuff coming for Ted. Oh my God.
So anyway, there's a million ways that scene 2 could go, springboarding off of scene 1. It could be later on the weekend, things aren't going well. It could be a year later, it could be whatever, right? And that's for the protagonist to decide. And usually you've got like the scene 1 of everybody else's scene to sort of give yourself some space for some inspiration to hit you. So anyway, play nicely with each other. Take a look at our little sub video about safety tools, like we've talked about that in class as well. Play nicely with each other. Good rule for the antagonist is put the protagonist in the crap, right? There's 2 rules in improv that kind of get pulled into RPGs. One of them, the yes and of improv turns into yes but.
Yeah.
Someone puts something forward. All right, that's part of the fiction, but maybe there's a condition. We'll see whether it happens or not. And the other good one from improv is put your partner in the shit, like put them in the hot seat where they're going to have to struggle with it a little bit. And, that's where the good stuff is going to come from. For the protagonist, don't go straight after your story goal in scene 1. Let it simmer over the course of the 3 scenes as you're moving towards them. And in the case of an antagonist, this was never going to happen in this story, but if we had a story of cops and robbers or of, terrorists or whatever, which you might, as an antagonist, don't kill off the protagonist in scene 1 or 2.
No.
If their life is ever on the line, it's only really in scene 3.
But you can do nasty stuff to relationship people.
Yeah.
Like they're up for grabs, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Protagonist needs to be able
Protagonist
to
needs to
have a stand.
see their way through the three scenes and have their arc play out in whatever way it might be. And so that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the tutorial. Have fun. Ask us questions.